Hey guys, it's Legendary Potter Studios. I am back with another video. Today I will be doing a book tag. I've never done one of these. This is my first one, and so I hope you enjoy. And without further ado, let's just get into the video. Question number 1 is ebook or physical book. I've never personally read an ebook, but that's because I prefer a physical book. I prefer paper. I don't want to read a screen. I don't think I would be good at reading a screen. It's bad for your eyes. Why wouldn't you just read a physical book? Question number 2 is paperback or hardback. This question is kind of hard because I like both. For reading purposes, paperback is easier to read, but I love hardback, and I'm trying to collect all of the Harry Potter series in hardback. I have all but 3 because my third book is missing, so I don't know what happened to it. I have to buy a new one. But the second and fourth one I have in paperback, and I have to get them in hardcover, so I need to do that sometime. But I think if you're going by look on the shelf, I definitely like hardcover, but if you're going by when you're reading it, it's definitely easier to read paperback, so I like both. I don't really have an answer for that one. Question number 3 is online or in-store shopping, and definitely for me, in-store shopping. Like, my favorite stores are bookstores. I love going in bookstores. I could spend hours and hours and hours in a bookstore. I do buy books online a lot, like on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, because it's just easy and simple and it's right there, and because I can't actually go anywhere. But if I could drive to bookstores, I would do that all day, every day, and I'd be in a bookstore all day, every day. Question number 4 is trilogies or series. I would definitely have to say series because they're longer. There's usually a lot more books, and most of my favorite series or my favorite books are series. Question number 5 is heroes or villains, and I know that there's people out there that like heroes, people out there that like villains. I'm more drawn toward heroes, but I don't hate all villains. Like, I do think that villains are interesting, and I think it would be interesting to learn more about a lot of villains' pasts to see why they became villains. But overall, I'm more of a hero person. So number 6 is a book that you would recommend everyone to read, and I would say for me, definitely Unbroken by Laura Hillenbrand. This is one of my favorite books of all time. It is so good, and do not watch the movie if you want to try and get the story. Read the book, because the movie is nothing like the book, but this is an amazing book. And if you don't know what it is, go find it and read it, because it's really, really good. Number 7 is an underrated book. I don't know that many books that are underrated. I couldn't really think of a book that I read that was underrated, so I just chose The Winter Sister. It's this one. I got it from Book of the Month. I don't know if anyone's read it or if it's popular or not, but I thought it was really good, and I haven't seen it all over the internet, so I'm just going with this one. But yeah, I thought this was really good, and I couldn't put it down, and this was like one of the first books that really got me back into reading again, so I thought this was really good. So number 8 is the last book that I finished reading, and that is this book called YouTube Secrets. I got this because I'm obviously trying to get into YouTube. Number 9 is the last book I bought. The last book I bought is The Unbound, which is the second book in the Archived series or whatever. I read the Archived, and I didn't have this book, and I was like, I have to get this book. I have to find this somewhere. And I couldn't find it online anywhere, and so I went to Books A Million, and I was looking for this book, but I was also looking for another book, and they didn't have this book. But I asked the cashier, and she said, she looked it up or whatever, and she said that she had one online for used, but it was like really cheap, and so I was like, yeah, I'll get that because I can't really find it anywhere else. So now I have it. Question number 10 is weirdest thing used as a bookmark. I've used many things as bookmarks. I've used a lot of trash, like just a random piece of paper, or I'll just rip a piece of paper off and use it, or just whatever I find lying around. Number 11 is used books, yes or no. Definitely a yes for me. I buy books at Goodwill all the time. There's this online store called Thrift Books that is like, you do not want to go in there because you will come away with like 20 books. Number 12 is top 3 favorite genres. I would have to say fiction, fantasy, and action and adventure. Those are my 3 favorite genres. I'm not really into like the whole romance thing and the whole like contemporary thing quite as much. I'm more of a like fiction and fantasy action person, but that's just my personal preference. Number 13 is borrow or buy. Definitely for me, I would say buy. I never go to the library. I used to have a library card and I used to get stuff at the library sometimes, but I would never really get books from the library. And when I was really younger, I would get books at the library all the time, but then, you know, I would lose them and stuff like that. But I haven't really gotten a book at the library in a long time, and I prefer to buy books because then I own them. And also my bookshelf is very kind of small actually compared to a lot of people I see, and so buying them is better because then it just grows my collection. And if I don't like the book, if it's like really horrible, I can just get rid of it, but if it's just not that bad or whatever, it's just cool to have on my shelf anyways because my shelf isn't that big right now. So yeah, I prefer to buy books. Question number 14 is characters or plot. For me, it is definitely characters. I love characters. I've always been really into characters. And obviously, I like the plot because I like stories and stuff, but like, the characters have always been my favorite thing in stories. Like, I really love characters and everything relating, so yeah, definitely characters. Question number 15 is long or short book. For me, I would have to say probably a long book because a lot of the short books that I read or see are more geared toward younger audiences. And not all of them obviously, but a lot of the ones that I've read. And I prefer bigger books. Like, I mean, this is my favorite book of all time and this is a giant book, so I prefer big books because the story is longer, there's more of it, and yeah, I like big books and they look much cooler in my opinion, but some small books can be cool too, but I prefer big books. The 16th question is long or short chapters, and for me this is kind of hard because sometimes short chapters can be really cool and then sometimes long chapters can be really cool. But if I had to choose overall, I would probably choose a long chapter because that means the chapter is longer and you're finding out what happens in that moment longer depending on the story and stuff. And some stories there's different people narrating chapters, and then it's like if it's longer you get one person for longer. I don't know. If I had to choose, I would probably choose long, but I like both, so it just depends on what's going on in the book. Question number 17 is what are the first 3 books that I think of, and the books that I put on here are the Lord of the Rings series because J.R.R. Tolkien is amazing and the series is just amazing, and also it's a really widely known book series and it's really popular and I really loved it. And then The Inheritance Cycle by Christopher Paolini, which is my second favorite book series of all time. It is really good, and if you haven't read it and you like fantasy, I would recommend it. Very recommend that. And then my favorite book series of all time, Harry Potter. This is my favorite book of all time, Deathly Hallows. It was great, amazing, love these books. I'll keep reading these forever and ever. This is probably the one series of books that I've read the most, so definitely Harry Potter. If you haven't read it, what cave have you been living in? Yeah, it's really good. Question number 18 is books that make you laugh or cry. This one's kind of hard because I don't read that many books that make me laugh, but I hate books that make me cry. So I would have to say books that make me laugh. even though I haven't really read a whole lot of books that make me laugh, because I read a lot of like fiction and fantasy, and it's not really like funny books, but it's not particularly sad all the time either. I mean, some of them are sad, but like overall, I don't really read that many funny books, but I don't read that many sad books, and I hate reading sad books because I've had an experience with reading a sad book. Question number 19 is our world or a fictional world. If you can't already tell what my answer is going to be, it's going to be fictional worlds because I like fictional books and fantasy books, and most of them happen in fictional worlds. Question number 20 is audiobooks, yes or no? I have to say no, but not completely no, and I will explain. So, I am the kind of person that thinks if you listen to an audiobook, you're listening to it, you don't read it, and so therefore you haven't actually read the book, you listen to the book. I think there's a difference between listening and reading books, but some people think that when you listen to an audiobook, that means they've read the book, but they haven't like actually read the book. And I personally, when I try to listen to audiobooks, I cannot for the life of me pay attention unless there are a few audiobooks that I have listened to either during my childhood or whatever over and over again and stuff, and I've read the books to them too, some of them, and I can do the audiobooks. Like Narnia, when I was a child, we used to listen to the audiobooks so much that I have like a vast majority of Dawn Treader memorized when listening to it. So, and I've read the books too, so like it's not like I haven't read the books, but the audiobooks for that kind of a thing is like awesome. I love it, and I love the audiobooks for Harry Potter because I've read Harry Potter, and so the audiobooks are great. Question number 21 is, have you ever judged a book by its cover? And I would have to say probably I have. I can't think of any specific books right now, but a lot of books that have like people on the cover and they're like romantic looking books, I'm like steer clear away from them because that's not my kind of a book. But I'm sure there's been plenty of books that I've judged the cover. Question number 22 is movie or TV adaptation. I would definitely have to say movie because there's a lot of movies that I've seen from books, and there's only one TV show that I have seen that's made from a book. I thought it was really good. It's a series of Unfortunate Events Netflix series. I thought that was really well done, but I haven't seen any other TV shows made from books, and I've seen so many movies that were made from books, and so many of them I hated, but there are a few that I love, so definitely would have to go with movies on that one. Question number 23 is a movie that I preferred to the book. I will say there are like no movies that I prefer to the books because I'm a book person. I like the books better. Most movies that I watch that are adapted from books I do not like. There are a few that I like, and there are some that I really, really like, but there are a few of them because most movies are horrible to the books, and usually I read the book first and then I watch the movie and I'm like, that was horrible, the book was awesome, and you know, stuff like that. But if I had to choose one, I would choose 1995 Pride and Prejudice. This is one of the most amazing, I guess it's technically a TV series ever. I have watched this so many times in my life. I've watched this since I was like as young as I can remember, and the reason I chose this one is because it's basically the book in movie / TV form. It's the exact same thing, so there's small minor details that are different, but like it's basically the same exact thing. There's not anything that's like notably like ginormously not like the book, so that's why I chose this one, because they're basically the same thing. And I read this once and I've watched this 1,000 times, and I would gladly watch this again like right now, and not read this because there's other books that I need to read. Last question number 24 is series or standalones. And for me personally, I would have to say series because I think when I see a series, it draws me in more. There's more books to it, and I feel like a lot of fiction and fantasy books are series and not standalones. And I think it just draws me in more because there's so much more of a story there than just one book. With the short story, there's like 5 books or whatever, but it's like all of this story to it and all of this stuff, and I just think series, in my opinion, are cooler because there's so much more books to it. There are standalones that I like, but I would have to choose series. So that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to follow me on all my social medias, I'll leave them down the link below. If you would like to subscribe and hit the notification bell to see more videos like this, I will be doing more in the future. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!